How's it going, everyone? Yours truly here in a different scenery with a special guest. I cannot reiterate this. I mean, without further ado, 4 championships in 6 years, coaches semi-pro, arena, men's football to women's football. I don't know what else to say. Everyone, Coach Coach Hac. Awesome. Thank you for being on the show.
Thanks for having me. Obviously, as usual.
It's always a pleasure. And the first question I want to ask you, I'm sure the audience would like to know, what inspired you to coach football?
Well, obviously I played. I played football, and as I was growing up, I always looked at football from more of a strategic standpoint. So even when I was playing, I was always asking my coaches questions. Why are we doing this? We should be doing this. So I always looked at the game from a strategic standpoint. When I was actually 5th or 6th grade, I wrote up my own playbook. And I used to use that playbook when we used to play street ball. So our teams were always very good and we rarely lost. But I always was looking at football from a coaching standpoint. I always thought football was a very strategic game, a violent game, a barbaric game, but also a very strategic game. It's like chess, like a vicious type of chess. It's just moving your pieces around and placing your pieces in strategic spots to make the big play.
Another question. I understand you had a tremendous, one year in particular stands out, semi-pro ball coaching the Eagles, Kane County Eagles. Please describe to me your thoughts on that particular season as coaching that particular team with a lot of talent, and how did you motivate and inspire them to achieve greatness that year?
Well, Rob, I hate to correct you, but the Eagles actually had 3 national championships, 2001, right, 2003, and 2007. So the Eagles were 3-time national champions, so 3 different seasons. Inspiring the Eagles was a whole lot different than the Bliss, but actually it was a lot the same. The goal was the championship, obviously, and that's how we approached every season, was the championship or bust. And to challenge the Eagles was a little bit different because they've all played college ball, a lot of them played pro ball, so playing with the Eagles was all about just getting to their personal, what motivated them personally. And as everybody knows, football is the ultimate team game. So the Eagles were a team encompassed of all team type players. So these guys bought into our program, which was there are no stars. It's all about the team. And we were fortunate enough to surround ourselves with a lot of great players and a lot of great coaches, and won 3 national championships in 6 years.
And a question to you, once again, your tremendous level of success over the years, from coaching men's to women's football. How do you keep your coaching staff motivated, and what do you look for to recruit coaches?
Well, through the years, the Eagles were mostly made up of guys similar to me, peers. But as I started going through like arena and then eventually the Bliss, it became more guys that had played for me. So they understood what I was all about and the message I was conveying, and how what I said and how I said it, and what the ultimate goal was, the championship. And these guys all bought into the program. They understood how it is by playing for me all those years. They understood what it took, how I approach things. I'm very driven, very focused, very dedicated, and I expect that the same with all the coaches. So I didn't need to motivate those guys. They knew, from their own playing days with me, what was expected of them, and they were driven by their own motivation to win championships.
Interesting. And I noticed, so when you were coaching the Bliss, once again winning 4 championships in 6 years, very, very impressive. A lot of the coaches on the coaching staff of the Chicago Bliss were ex-players.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
So when it came to gathering all the coaches together, forming a game plan every single week, was it easy? Was it more difficult just from their previous experience?
No, it was very easy. Obviously I had a lot of ex-players that wanted to be part of the Bliss. So I was very selective through the years on who I would bring on board. And they had to buy into the philosophy that I've always had. People don't remember second place teams, and that's what I used to tell the guys all the time when I coached them. They only remember champions, and that's what drives us, is championships. So the guys that I selected were similar to me. And as you're building a coaching staff, you can only have one screamer on a team. You can't have a coaching staff full of screamers. It just doesn't work. They have to be able to talk and motivate each position that they coach. Like Knox coached the D-backs, Dennis the offensive line, Dave the wide receivers, Doug the defensive line, Pike the quarterback, and they were all the same. When you really think about it, they were all generally the same kind of guy. They approached all their players the same way. They were very delicate in how they handled the players, but very stern. There's only one room for one screamer, and that was me. And I was the enforcer. I was the disciplinarian. I was the guy that had to set the tone for the whole team. And that's how these guys were. They understood that by playing for me. And, you know, not only from an intellectual standpoint, but these guys were very smart football guys. And they, again, bought into my philosophy on football, on what it takes to win both in the outdoor game and the arena game. And the Bliss were kind of a hybrid of that. And we knew that. That's why we were always cutting edge. We were always ahead of the game when we played these other teams. We understood what LFL football really was all about.
Well, there you go, everyone. You heard from Coach Hac. Always stay ahead of the game and cutting edge, and be persistent because good things will happen. Till then, we'll see you next time.